Student sections. Whether you are an athlete on the field, court, or ice, or a supporter cheering in the stands, the student section will always be a prominent element of high school sports. At SLU, the student section is recognized as a core aspect of our athletics, so much so that every year, the freshman class is initiated into the SLU Brotherhood with the creation of a massive blue student section at the first home football game in the iconic Running of the Bills. Student sections can be the most fun part of the SLU experience. For athletes, the student section can create a loud, exhilarating environment to confidently play in. For students, it creates a supportive brotherhood as they gather together to root for their classmates and friends. However, the supportive and bright cheers a student section brings for the home team can soon turn into degrading, ugly taunts against the opposing team.
I think what I love the most about the SLU student section is the energy and excitement that they bring to a game. I love looking up into the crowd and just seeing like a lot of laughter and a lot of joy and a lot of yelling and screaming. It just creates this really fun energy that I think changes games. It's really fun.
I was at a basketball game, I guess it was the Webster game, and toward the end of the Webster game, the ref walked along our sidelines and he looked at me and he looked up at the crowd and he said, "They're good. They're really good." He said, "It's more fun to ref a game when the crowd's into it."
As players and like just people like on the bench or the sideline, really like helps us like get into the game, really like motivates us to want to win. Like having fans there just brings out like a different drive and desire for the players.
Yeah, I think the student section makes a difference a lot in the high school experience. I remember being a student in high school and I was one of the guys leading the cheers at the front, and I felt like that really created a lot of the brotherhood that I experienced as a student, just being a part of the games and feeling like it was part of the high school experience in general. The thing that sometimes we lack is sometimes some creativity in our cheers. Like normally it's the same things that we do every year, or it becomes at one person that they know from the other team or something like that. It doesn't continue to evolve maybe in the way that it maybe should.
Being an adult who's at the game, I have a level of responsibility to keep my students in line, and so I feel like I spend a lot of time thinking about where is the line and what's appropriate for them to be chanting and yelling during a game, and where is the line where it's a step too far. I really don't love like singling a specific player out or like one specific student.
Yeah, I think that's where we cross over lines. Singling out other people is something that I think that we should be above.
I'm okay if we want to do a little taunting to an entire team, as long as it's playful and it's done in good humor. It's just meant to be lighthearted and funny.
I think there's some good fun in poking fun at, maybe a mascot of an opposing team or something like that. It's when you get into individual athletes that I feel like we start crossing lines.
I don't know if I have or not. I don't really listen usually, but I know that some of my friends have been targeted. My coach has been targeted. I remember one of those. Yeah, no, I think I have probably been, but I don't really listen to it.
When I get targeted, I think it's absolutely hilarious. Like some people like get offended by it and like get mad. Like I just think it's like really, really, really funny. But I do feel like there is a point that like could be crossed when it comes to like getting targeted during student sections.
I say everything goes. I like it when I think fair game, honestly. It's a sporting event. Personally, I really don't pay much mind to it. Whenever someone's yelling on the other student section, I kind of just play.
I have been in another student section where they talk about the guy's family and like stuff like that. I feel like that like really crosses the line. Talking about somebody's family, like their personal life, like a struggle they're going through, I feel as that like that's kind of like off limits.
I don't know, maybe it could be different for other guys and for other sports. It doesn't really affect me that much personally, but no, it's definitely a fun, also an exciting part of the game that you get to like actually be out there and people care about it. I think part of the taunting and like the fans in the lad student section, I think that's kind of just part of the game. that's kind of something that you sign up for when you're like playing the sport. If you're playing at varsity level, you know that there's always going to be people there taunting and chirping.
It's like they're just having fun, and like you get targeted. Like I just feel it's hilarious.
Like there have been times where I've been blown up right in front of the opposing student section, and then you can hear them yelling. I just get back up and just keep going.
You got to pay no mind to it and just play ball.
Yeah, as an athlete, things are going to happen outside of your control. And I think it's really important to block out any noise and focus on the task at hand. But that doesn't excuse students' behavior in the stands from being against what we stand for.
I probably wouldn't draw a hard line that says the only cheering we should do is positive cheering for our team. I think some negative cheering is okay. Again, going back to the Webster game the other night, when they were literally barking at the kid on the free throw line, I think that's part of the game. When there's like an organized chant that one of the blue crew is doing that brings in a kid's name, that I will step in on, because that's thinking in a thinking way, doing something that you know is against the rules.
Typically, when I've seen it as a faculty member, it's been typically involving a girlfriend or an ex-girlfriend of an athlete and mentioning her specific name and the player's specific name, which obviously I feel like is way out of bounds, and I've had to pull students aside and talk to them about what they're doing.
One example that comes to mind, it happened this year when we were at a soccer game, and the students from SLU were cheering in particular against one player from CBC's soccer team over and over and over again. And despite the fact that they were asked like multiple times not to do that, our student section kept doing it. Here's the thing that I think I'm aware of sometimes that students can't be. One, I was aware that that player that they kept going after was the single black student playing for CBC's soccer team, right? So whether the intention is to be rooted in taunting a player based on their race or not, the optics are we are consistently taunting a player based on their race.
A fan shouldn't say anything from the stands that they wouldn't say to that person's face. And if they do, then I would say it is in fact cowardly, because you're wrapping yourself in the anonymity of the crowd and you're protecting yourself because that guy can't hear you personally or confront you for what you said.
The other thing that I think of frequently is like that kid's parents are in the stands watching their son play, right? And all that they can hear is our student section consistently targeting their kid.
You know, as a school, I think it's SLU that we should hold ourselves to a higher standard than maybe other schools. I know schools are going to do that, right? It's definitely has evolved in high school sports.
And I know that sometimes this can be hard and frustrating, right? Like sometimes it feels maybe like SLU students or the SLU student section is held to a different standard than other schools. We have standards for you. We have high standards for you and expectations for how you will carry yourselves, not only because it reflects on who you are as an individual, but it also reflects on our school.
People say, how come we hold our guys to a higher standard than other schools do? And my response is, yeah, you're right. We do hold our guys to a higher standard. And it may sound arrogant, but that's why we're SLU.
At the end of the day, the student section is more than just noise. It's a reflection of who we are. The energy and chants bring us together, but they also test the capacity of our sportsmanship. There's a fine line between spirit and scorn, and as much as we love the roars of the student section, our composure behind it is what truly defines us. At SLU, we hold ourselves to a higher standard, not because we have to, but because that's what it means to be a part of this brotherhood.